Prepare to go back in time. It's the Classic Guitar Rock Time Machine.
I call it a Wayback. We just set it, turn it on, open the door, and there we are.
And now your host, Jeremy Lunnan.
Just when you thought it was safe to go back to your favorite radio station, it's time for the Classic Guitar Rock Time Machine. I am your guide, Jeremy, and we are going back to one of the greatest years in classic rock history, 1973. Frankly, you will be stunned, amazed, surprised, titillated, and overly blown away by the level of music and the great bands that were cranking out great guitar-driven rock in 1973. So what are we waiting for? Sit back and relax and enjoy 1973. Let's get the party started with Deep Purple. We are cutting a rug at a place called The Jug. It's 1973, and this is Lynyrd Skynyrd. You and I are traveling through time on the Classic Guitar Rock Time Machine. Who would have thought back in 1973 that this little band with their debut album would become one of the great classic rock acts of all time? This is Freddie Mercury and Queen, and we are keeping ourselves alive on the Classic Guitar Rock Time Machine. It is the Classic Guitar Rock Time Machine. In 1973, the top TV shows included The $6 Million Man, All in the Family, Kung Fu, and my personal favorite, Sanford and Son. Lamont, you big ugly dummy!
The lunatic is on the grass.
It's a Classic Guitar Rock Time Machine. Of course, Dark Side of the Moon would go on to sell about 50 bajillion records over the next 40 years. And before he developed a taste for bats, Ozzy Osbourne was still fronting Black Sabbath. And in 73, they had this classic tune, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath.
You see right through distorted eyes, you know you have to learn.
This is the Classic Guitar Rock Time Machine. I am your guide, Jeremy. And please, for your safety, keep your arms and legs inside the craft at all times. This is Led Zeppelin and Dancing Days on the Classic Guitar Rock Time Machine.
Dancing days are here again. Summer evenings go.
I am Jeremy, and thank you for joining me on the Classic Guitar Rock Time Machine as we celebrate 1973. It was a really good year. Hey, if you like what you're hearing here, check out the Classic Guitar Rock podcast, where we dive deep into the great guitar-driven rock of the 60s, 70s, and 80s. You can find the Classic Guitar Rock podcast wherever fine podcasts are sold or played or whatever they do. When we come back, we'll explore some more great tunes from this phenomenal year, 1973, right here on the Classic Guitar Rock Time Machine.
Double mint chewing gum, it's the one made for fun.
We are travelers of both time and space.
It would be extremely painful.
It's the Classic Guitar Rock Time Machine.
Welcome back to the Classic Guitar Rock Time Machine. I'm Jeremy, and we are going all the way back to 1973. Here's Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting.
It's getting late. Have you seen my face? Tell me when the boys get here.
It's the Classic Guitar Rock Time Machine with something ripping and rocking from Elton John. Now let's play something a little softer, a little more sensitive from Dennis DeYoung and Styx with their big breakout hit. This is called Lady. Sing it with me one time.
Lady,
Thank you.
when you're with me, I'm smiling. Give me your lady.
It's a classic guitar rock time machine. In 1973, Motor Trend's car of the year was the Chevy Monte Carlo. And of course, if you were really cool, you had that barefoot gas pedal. And of course, a Pioneer 8-track machine.
Stop moving when it first took hold. What's a whole spring?
This, of course, begs the question, what is a rock and roll hoochie coo, and where do I get one? It's the classic guitar rock time machine. I'm your host, Jeremy, and The Who were making a big splash in 1973.
I went back to the doctor. Getting on the street. Can you see the real me?
It's a classic guitar rock time machine. I am Jeremy, and in 1973, we saw a brand new candy bar. It was called the Marathon Bar. It was chocolatey and caramely and sticky, and it stuck to your teeth, and the promise was it would last a long, long, long time. Well, it did, but it's no longer available. But when I think of the Marathon Bar, I think of this song. This is Montrose with their massive debut album and this phenomenal track, Hot, Sweet, and Sticky. This is Rock Candy on the classic guitar rock time machine. It's the classic guitar rock time machine, and in 1973 on the big screen we were watching High Plains Drifter, The Sting, American Graffiti, and the creepy classic Soylent Green. Kids, you'll have to ask your parents about that one. Here's BTO with Let It Ride. It's a classic guitar rock time machine, and for my money, 1973 saw the greatest ZZ Top album ever from Tres Hombres, Beer Drinkers, and Hellraisers.
If you see me walking down the line with my favorite honky tonk.
It's the classic guitar rock time machine, and we have been diving into one of the greatest years in classic rock, 1973. Hey, thank you so much for joining me. I am your host, Jeremy Lennon, inviting you to join us again next week here on The Time Machine, but also to check out the Classic Guitar Rock podcast. If you're a fan of the great guitar-driven rock of the 60s, 70s, and 80s, and just classic rock in general, you will love that podcast. Also, please take a minute to follow us on Twitter at Classic Guitar R1. That's at Classic Guitar R1. We'll see you next time on the Classic Guitar Rock Time Machine. Take care.